the biggest purpose of this session is for me to listen to you, what kind of things you want to know, what kind of problems, what kind of things that you have in mind, but you can't do doing business in Japan. That's what I want to know. And I think I prepared something like 20 PowerPoint pages, maybe. Let me see. Based on questions that I raised, 28. Some are duplicates, so I didn't spend too much time just giving you to give you my opinion of what you should do. No, very Japanese, look very Japanese. More so than my room or my house.
That's the real, it's a real.
Yeah, I'm very very surprised to meet with people and they don't know a lot about Japanese things and neither. So maybe I can learn from you guys. So this is recorded, and so if you don't want yourself to appear, your name is just fine, or your picture is just fine. I'm going to use it. I mean, maybe gonna go on my homepage or maybe YouTube for or other people to take a look at, if they are curious about later on. So feel free to hide and don't show. I'm gonna cut off and this thing, introductory thing that I'm going to cut off, but uh, if you have any questions after 30 minutes, yeah, please raise your hand and set your microphone on and talk. I want it to be more discussion than just a one-way presentation. So let me start out. Right, this thing. I'm kind of surprised to know that I just started LinkedIn just about 3 weeks ago, and I have like something like 40 people already following me in a short period of time. And I have a very, very good information I'm collecting, good exchange of comments and so forth. And I'm very, very happy to be part of your community in LinkedIn, basically. But I'm going to present you what I think may be the most essential things that you may want to know first. And then let's go on and talk about, you may have some kind of idea what things should be, and or you came here with all the big dreams and hopes, but the things here are not as expected or anything. That I want to know too. That's something that I may want to work on and maybe some help to you. Okay, great. Let me start. Okay, so before we start, if you don't want to show up on the screen for the later release or the distribution, please hide, or even your name. You may want to hide it. That's fine. But with your voice, please ask questions. Maybe you just want to listen to and take notes on something. That's fine too. Okay, great. So today's contents, just like I talked about in invitation emails to you, are these 7 questions. I think they are most basic things. And I got responses. I think 3 or 4 people responded. Thank you very much. And specific questions they raised too, other than these. I'm going to answer those things. And if I don't, please let me know. Or any other questions, please let me know so we can talk about it later on. But let me answer these questions one by one. And it may not be sufficient to you at this point, but it's really case by case, and you need to take a look at closely to be really, really safe or effective as far as application and passing the examination that's required to get actual money in your bank account. And that's really practical things that I'm going to talk about. My impression so far, as far as starting up, I started up about 6 months ago. I came up with the idea of why don't I help non-Japanese people living in Japan, and they may be struggling, they may be in a fog, and don't know what to do next, and things like that. Because I used to be like that when I was working in the United States. I worked in the United States like 10 years and wanted to invest there, but I couldn't get a visa. I couldn't get enough backing, venture. No, it's not a venture, but the real estate investment I wanted to do. Investors backed out and things like that. I experienced that, and coming back to Japan and started out my own business. And I've gone through things you are already experiencing as a business owner in Japan. From Japanese perspective, many things maybe easy as I'm a Japanese national, and things that are so natural to me may not be natural at all to you guys. So that's why I wanted to talk about these things, and let me know if I miss anything later on. Okay, so what are the most popular subsidies? Before I go on, please let me explain about myself. I talked about a little bit, but I studied in the United States after graduating from high school in Japan. I went to Seattle, you know, I stopped by in Silicon Valley, in Menlo Park. I stayed there a few days. I stayed in Oakland, north of Berkeley, for a couple of months. And then I moved up by driving my small Fiat to passing North California to Oregon to Seattle, and I went to school there. I became CPA and was manager at Deloitte and Arthur Andersen, and executive director at Goldman Sachs and UBS. Because I always wanted to start up a business on my own, so I didn't stay there too long. Some people ask me, why didn't you stay there? You get so good salaries over there, and why didn't you? I always wanted to be a business owner or venture capitalist. Wasn't I wasn't a venture capitalist, but that was something that was very curious to me. And I wanted to start out a real estate investment, so I was how do you call it? Robert Allen and Mark Victor Hansen was my mentor. I was there as a member of Inner Circle. I was there like several years trying to invest real estate there, but Japanese investors backed out, and soon after the Lehman shock came, and I felt, wow, I might have been lucky. But anyway, I started out after that. I got some good advice from them, and one of with one of the members, I started out using their know-how, an online investment school, but it didn't go well and liquidated. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. But I failed the business and exited it, and I was kind of behind the scene, hiding for many years, almost 10 years, and came out. It's like coming out to me last 6 months or so, because I was using my author name rather than my real name, Nobuji Kanai. And I'm really now. Thank you. Um, um, and Subsidy and grant consulting, from those reasons, I thought was next thing that I need to do, I want to do, starting out last year. Okay. And I worked as a subsidy consultant and processed and reviewed many applications. And behind the scene, I learned a lot of things that are happening in examination offices, office examiners, and what kind of documentations are necessary, what's turned down, what's good or bad, or things like that. Also, I'm helping Tarun Mehta. He's an Indian guy, U.S. citizen, Silicon Valley, business owner, coming to Japan and helping him as a COO, and now following up CES generated leads a few weeks ago, and helping him business plans and subsidies and bank loans and so forth, gathering money. Always, I think I want to work on some kind of money. Anyways, okay, finally, get to the question of what is Japanese subsidies and grants. That's question. And grants and subsidy are two different things, totally two different things. Grants, called joseikin, is money given by Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, 厚生省, based on the tax, unemployment tax, is used to improve the welfare of employees, mainly the small and the medium-sized companies. Usually, grants, you meet some certain requirements. If you apply for it, you get the money, usually. It's not that difficult. You just need to find what's available if you meet the conditions and fill the application, maybe 1 or 2 pages long. That's it. And a few weeks later, you get the money out. But amounts are not as big, and times are limited, or conditions are very limited, like a reskilling type of thing, seminars and reskilling, learning again, lifetime learning, things like that, may be covered there. Subsidies, on the other hand, are provided by MIDI. It's agency called 中小企業庁, which is a small business agency. And it's from tax money you guys pay in Japan. They want more tax at the end, but they want to improve their business, get more sales, or get more efficiency is usually the purpose. It's totally different things. Two are so different. Subsidies are called 補助金. 補助 means to assist, to give you, but not the entire money, part of the money, because they subsidize. So that's why it's called subsidies. And usually when you apply, you need an extensive business plan, like a mission vision and those management plan, also a subsidy project plan, what you're going to do, why, that's necessary things for the Japanese economy and for your company. And you have to pay the expenses that you said you were going to pay at the time of the application. And at the end of the project, they pay you back. It's kind of reimbursement rather than upfront money so you can spend freely. So that's the difference. First question, what are the most popular subsidies? Let's go there. And also, I can cover how much subsidies can be obtained. Here is the summary. This is taken from a magazine called Diamond magazine. They had a big article on the 5 most popular subsidies in Japan. Usually, these are used by Japanese companies, but I think it's the next one, who is eligible, is these are the requirements. Who's eligible? This is a definition of small and medium-sized businesses in Japan. It's given by SME agency. It's a law. It's a law. And if you meet these requirements, in addition, whether or not stockholders or of these small companies, even if employees are small and capitalization is small, that's why you are a small company, if you take a look at it. But if you are owned by a large company, then you may not qualify. Yeah, but if you invest, yourself, few people, you are with a co-founder or maybe venture capital, maybe you get qualified. You are qualified. You are excluded only if you are owned by a large company. It doesn't matter if it's a Japanese company or foreign company. If you are incorporated in Japan, also, some, I should say, some subsidies, individuals, you may call sole proprietors, individual business owners can apply to, like a small business subsidy or monozukuri, product making subsidies. Individuals even can apply, but you have to register with a tax office and declare you're going to start a business. Therefore, you file a tax return and get some, tax carryover. If you at the loss, you can carry over the loss. But if you don't declare, you cannot carry over the loss. That's the difference. They call it blue filing and white filing. White filing, you cannot carry over, but blue filing, you can carry over the losses, like something like 10 years, I think. So even if you haven't established a company in Japan, but you're preparing for establishing it, starting up a business, you better file this blue filing registration with tax office, so you can carry over the losses. It's a calendar year tax filing, so it may be a good idea. I said a good thing. Okay, let me see. So these are the things. Small business sustainability subsidy, max amount. Oh, I made a mistake. It's 2.5, not 1.5. Wait. Max amount is 2.5 million yen. Oh, I think this is wrong. Sorry, this is a business restructuring is up to 150 million yen. 1億5千万円. And monozukuri is second one. this is, I have to correct it. ものづくり or product or service making subsidy is up to 30 million. But it depends on how many employees you have. These things too. If you are like, if you have employees like 50 or 100, you get the maximum amount usually. Business succession and acquisition subsidy. This is not seen as many times to even to me, but also to foreigners. But this is, Japanese business owners, small business owners get so old now, they might pass away without succeeding it to your children or whatever. They want to encourage, they want to help business owners, pass on the ownership to the next generation. But you can use it for M&A purposes too. So this maybe as an exit or as an entry to Japanese business, this could be a good thing to use. Yeah, very interesting, right? Okay, next one is IT implementation subsidy, sorry. This thing sounds for the use of a software company. Yeah, in a sense, but if you want to sell a software or tools to Japanese companies, including foreign owned, this is the one to use. This is the subsidy to increase the efficiency of your company who are applying for the subsidy. So it's not to sell it's not for the software developer who want to get help to develop the software. But if you turn around, if you get approved, if you are approved software company or IT company to sell your product to Japanese companies, this is the one you want to use so that your clients can use government money to buy your product. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's the reverse side. If you want to sell, you want your clients to have the subsidy to buy your product from you. So it's very interesting. You can use a lot of ways, lots of different directions or approaches you can use it. You want to propose to your clients, why don't you do, Japanese clients, why don't you do a subsidy? So you have money to buy my product, something like that, right? Okay. The last one is small business sustainability subsidy. 小規模事業者、持続化補助金 is one. This is a small one, 2.5 million yen, but this is the easiest. I said relatively easy, but this is the easiest to do. So this is good, like an entry point if you want to do everything. Oh, sorry. If you want to do everything, but you want to try out the small business sustainability subsidy so that you feel comfortable. You take a look at it. What's what IT implementation and small business subsidies are the ones that are with the most acceptance rate, right? This is really average. Even to Japanese, only the half of them get passed and get the money, right? But this can be like a 90% or 100% if you know the behind the scene things that we can talk about when we have chance. Okay, great. Next one. Who is understand? This is done, right? Usually, 100 regular employees, 300, something like that. For the small business subsidy, the employee must be 5 or less. if it's manufacturing, 20 or less. That's why it's called a small business. So if you are starting out and you're going to have more than 5 very soon, you want to do the small business subsidy. Anyways, right now, it's for the sales channel development, all the advertisement expenses, homepage, the flyers, those expenses will be covered. And 2.5 million yen, it's not a lot, doesn't sound a lot, but it helps. I'll explain a little bit later. Okay, why Japanese government offers subsidies and grants? This is a tough question to ask. I'm trying to answer. This is going to be a history study, history time now, but Japan's been said to experience so-called lost 30 years. First, it was lost 10 years. It became 20 years. Now lost 30 years after the burst of bubble in 1990. I remember that I was in the US and came back, and all those years, it's burst of a bubble economy ever since. And Lehman shock in 2008 and Great Earthquake 2011. In 1990s, Japanese government was, we call it, reversed or changed from a liberal party to a democratic party. And they wanted the government to be small. They wanted a small government and cut off all the budgets, cut off every day. And people look at how the government will react to those Lehman shock and 2011 great earthquake in the East Japan, East part of Japan, and how they acted on the what do you call it, nuclear plant disaster. People hated it. People hated Democratic Party. They were chicken and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't act in time. So Abe, once he lost his regime, came back in right after the earthquake and started Abenomics, what he called, and those loosening up finance situations and so forth. And he calls re-challenge and economic revitalization policies started after the earthquake. And Prime Minister Suga, former Prime Minister Suga, succeeded and basically continued his policy. And it was amazing. I think it was at the time 2 trillion yen budget for CO2 things, green, carbon-free society, DX, innovation, and support for small and medium-sized companies. Even at Abe's regime, small business were so important because I think it was like 70%, something like 70% of the companies, small business, and 99% or something of working force population is in a small business in Japan. So that was a big deal to help small business. And the thing happened, right? This coronavirus thing happened, and it was a big thing in Japan too. And they used even bigger amount. They said 77 trillion yen to go through to help people, benefits and give away money and so forth. And of the 77, 28 trillion yen was for small and medium-sized companies. and they used no guarantee, no collateral loan, no interest loan, like a three no's to small and medium-sized companies. So what happened was that the balance of uh, uh, bank lending skyrocketed. Um, it was kind of going down, but in 2020 it jumped, and this green thing, it's in Japanese, but sorry, it is a JFC, Japanese Finance Corporation. This is the government finance corporation to lend money to small companies. Blue ones are the regular banks, and yellow one, orange one is a 信用金庫, 信用組合, is a community bank. I don't know, you might have community banks in your country, but it's like a mutual. You invest small amount to the institution, and you get the local support from those local banks. That's everywhere in Japan. And they worked hard to lend those no guarantee, no collateral, no interest loans to help small and medium-sized companies. And the blue ones are the regular banks, and the orange ones are the no, I'm sorry. Blue ones are for the large companies, and orange ones are for small companies lending growth as compared to the previous year. So in 2020, for the first time, it really went up for small businesses. Those are the businesses at the time of COVID, losses, red ink everywhere. Bank lended flawlessly. A lot of money went out to help out small companies. So after the COVID, those small companies are kind of cash rich. They have lots of cash to spend now after the COVID. So what I want to say is that it is also available to foreign non-Japanese managed companies too. If you establish in Japan, if you do business in Japan, banks are available. Both subsidies and bank loans are available if you do things right. So one more thing I want to add is that Abe's regime, Suga's regime, then now currently it's Kishida regime. He said, I think in 2022, that he was going to do the 5-year plan to tenfold increase in a budget to startups. He wants unicorns from, at the time, 2020, only 6 unicorns in Japan to 100 in the future. I think in the future means something like 2027 or not. And that includes the funding supply and diversity, diversify exit strategies, M&A. That's happening. And I'm going to talk about if I have a chance. Okay, I'm exceeding the 30-minute limit, so I'm going to close up soon. How to apply and get approved for the maximum amount. This, I need to spend a lot of time to explain, and this is actually the work, my business. That's what my business do. So can't speak, too long time, but let me briefly explain it to you. Yep, is a little more detail on subsidies. The succession subsidy is not included here, but let me tell you, I think that the order was kind of reversed, so sorry. So small businesses at the top. Small business subsidies are just starting now. It's starting, it's description. The the application explanation just came out January 16th. They have not started the application window yet, but it's going to start. And I'm going to show you some detail as far as small business things, is concerned. ものづくり is product service making subsidy. Right here, 2.5 for, sorry, I shouldn't use this mouse, sorry. 2.5 for sales channel development. ものづくり is for, it's exactly what it says. It's product making. So if you want to develop a software, if you want to make something really, really efficient and want to sell it, the methodology or something, they're going to pay you up to the maximum amount of 100 million yen. If you, the company with employees less than 5, it's 5 or less, it's 7.5 million yen. IT implementation subsidy, you have to, if you want to sell your product, you need to get approved by the government, but you can use it to sell your product if you do it wisely. It's 4.5 million yen. And the business restructuring subsidy, this is the one that gets so much criticism by other taxpayers, but it's 80 million yen max. But I think numbers are a little bit off. 80 million yen, maybe like more than 100 million yen if you are a large corporation. If you are medium, but bigger medium-sized company. When you want to restructure, you want to start out a new line of business, if you want to change the business, then this may be the one to apply to. But this is a very crowded red ocean thing, and very, very difficult to get approved and get the money out. So my suggestion is to start out with a small one and move to a bigger one as your company grow. Schedule for small subsidies starting this month is deadline for the support plan form 4. You need to get some kind of a certificate from Chamber of Commerce, local Chamber of Commerce, by March 7th. So you have entire February to prepare the application and business plan. That I can help. And submit it, the due date is March 14th. The adoption and subsidy decision, these two are different things, but it's going to be too long, so I don't explain too much. But you get approved for the amount you requested up to 2.5 million yen. That's going to be June. And October 31 is the implementation period. You want to finish up your project by October 31, but you can do that earlier if you can hurry up. 2-3 month period, you get all the money you said you're going to spend and go on to the submission of performance report. This is actually the expenses that I spend as I promised at the beginning in the application. You have to do it by December 10th. I'm sorry, December 10th, 2024. I'm sorry. Then they give you, okay, you did it right. You are successful. We pay you the amount, as you said, to your bank account in a 2 weeks period or so. They pay you to your bank account, and that's done. But one more thing, after a year, they're gonna call you up and request some kind of performance report, the current situation after a year or so. so that you are still there. They want to make sure you are still in the business. It doesn't have to be successful. It doesn't. You may not be continually doing, but you have to report what you did, how you did after a year, how things are doing. That's the small business subsidy. I let me this thing right here. I already give it to Scott, but I'm gonna send you a download link to you after this webinar. So please take a look at it. This is more detail. Here's the which quarter to pick, and is the one usually the startup quarter is the one you want to take. You want to pick. There are different categories to apply to. Uh, Regular quota is just 500,000 yen. This is not much. But if you pick either this one or wage increase quota, you get 2 million yen. And additional 500,000 yen is invoice quota, what they call. If you register to invoice process registration, then you get 500,000 yen extra. Things like that. There are many things you have to watch out for and do things right. If you have one mistake in your application, you are done. You get disapproved. So be careful. And this is the process that I made from the small business agency homepage. And this is how it's going to proceed. This is more detailed than the schedule, but this is something you have to go through the end of the year. Okay, now back to, this is the one. And these are the step-by-step processes you need to go through to get the money out of government's pocket. Okay, finally, is it worth to apply? Let me talk about the startups. You get really go down, your money will go down, and I think many people are maybe experiencing right now. But before you make money, and before you break even, you struggle, or go your bank balance will keep going down, 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 and finally you pick up, you start the sales, and break even and make profits and so forth. This is a long, long process for startups. Because a lot of startups, like a proof of concept, you prove to a few clients that it actually works, your idea actually works. Then that minimum viable product, the least small product that you can, it works. And if you increase the sales, it is a proof of business. Then you may be able to get the money out of venture capital's pocket. But before that, you have a lot of things you need to do. And one of the things you can do to go through the difficult process is the subsidy and the loan that I wanted to talk about. And also the creating a very exact project-based business plan rather than company business plan that you work on all the time. You say you're going to do this project, spend this much. Then you get approved. If you get approved, government will support you at the end. But if you are smart enough to get the bank loan that I talked about, those Japanese companies are getting a lot of bank loans without guarantee, with a very low, like 1%, 1.5% interest rate, without any personal guarantees. That's something that you want to do. If you get the bank loan upfront And if I should say, if you get the subsidy approved and you get a notice of how much you're going to get if you spend that much money, then bank officers are interested in your business rather than just a gaijin fuzzy business. It's a lot better position when you have a subsidy. It's like a proof of some kind of a status, some kind of a trust is generated from that approval process. That's something that you can use to maximize your standing in Japan, business standing in Japan. So my suggestion is to start out small business subsidy. It's easiest to, or the all, and it's relatively in a quick time you get the money in. I mean, you get the money approved, and it's the shortest project period you can have to go through, and you get the money out of government's pocket very soon. And then monozukuri subsidy is the one, it's a bigger amount, 7.5 for a company with 5 or less employees. If you want to develop, maybe together you want to apply almost for monozukuri subsidy. Also, if you want to improve the efficiency of your company back end, back side of the business, you want to make sure that before your sales increase pick up, you want to make most efficient back end office available and working. And later on, if you decide to change your business or something, you can use business restructuring subsidy. Or if you want to back out or sell it to somebody, you can use a business succession and acquisition subsidy. So if you can line up all these things and also line up at the front end bank loan, there are certain ways it's easier for even the foreigners to get approval. That is the thing right here. You may wonder, you have to personally guarantee the loan. No, you don't have to. Japan's been changing. After 30 years. They finally changed. You don't need to sign up the personal bank loan at all. There are ways. There are 2 or 3 ways to get guarantee-free loans. Government-backed programs are there, and 100% guaranteed by if you are in Tokyo Credit Guarantee Corporation Association is there to help you. They want more startups. They want more companies to be a unicorns, and that includes you guys coming from the outside of Japan. Okay, these are things just to show you right here. This I translated it. This is the Japan Finance Corporation, JFC. JFC is a subsidiary of the government, and but even backing out Credit Guarantee Association and financial institutions, they are the basis for the credit. And you may want to go to Japan Finance Corporation first, maybe together with these government program-backed credit provided loans. Maybe together, maybe you may get more money, like 20, 30 million yen, depending on which program you pick. So putting them together, subsidies and bank loans, you get huge leverage, huge cash flow advantage in your business before, even if you want to get the money from VCs, you get more business going. You get more valuation. with you to negotiate. Okay, these are the things. Sorry, took me 35 more minutes to talk about. Sorry, this is it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Is it good? Is it so? Let me know. This is my first time
Yeah,
in English.
thanks, San. Yeah, it was really very informative. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Uh, can I ask you a few questions, like
Sure.
maybe one or two things? So, first question. So you mentioned that after we apply for subsidy,
Yeah.
uh, so the decision will be announced somewhere in the month of June, correct?
One more time.
The government will kind of approve or reject. At least we
Right.
will get to know by the month of
Right.
June, correct?
Right. True.
So once we get the approval, you also mentioned that the subsidy amount is given more like a reimbursement. It is not
Right.
a payment, right?
Right. Right.
So when we claim for reimbursement, do we submit the request for reimbursement for last 1 year of expenses, or like how does that work?
Uh, yeah, I didn't mention that. Sorry. The expenses covered are the ones you include in the application, and expenses that are incurred after the approval and before the submission of the performance report. In small business subsidies case, it's up to like 7 months. I think in our case, it was October of this year, right? So you want to submit early. I think I heard early submissions get better chance of passing. I heard the last few days or so are so busy for them, so they don't like those people coming in late. But you need to be careful. You shouldn't spend on those expenses before you get the approval. So you need to plan in advance. And if you have a plan of spending money already, if you have a subsidy in addition to your just general business plan, you get the money back, part of the expenses already you decided to pay. That's how you think, you know, that's more strategically and more business planning. It's just a part of it. You don't work hard to get the subsidy because you want the money. That's the reverse way. You have the plan, you will spend the money, and government will pay part of it. That's why it's called subsidy. You know, they are assisting part of it. So be careful. It's after the approval and before or the performance report. Those project implementation period is important.
Sorry, just to be on the same page, if I understood correctly.
Yeah.
So if the government give a approval, let's say in the month of June, so can we submit for reimbursement for the expense which we did in the month of April this year?
Let me go back. Where is that? Is that this one right here, right? Schedule. This small
Right.
business subsidies case, right? Uh, it's just starting. It hasn't started. I didn't see it started, but they are starting now, and you have to file certain things, Form 4 and application. Form 4, you have to get it, certificate from Chamber of Commerce by March 7th. And you apply for it, you wait for that decision, adoption and decision notice, that's June. Then those notice of subsidy decision, then you can spend those money to for the subsidy covered uh, uh, approval. This
Okay.
right? From June to October 31.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
And
Thanks.
from October 31 to December, this is the period for the performance report. So it's kind of shorter. I thought it was like up to 7 months in the previous subsidy, but in this case, yeah, this is 24. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. Sure. Thanks. I do have like another question, but maybe I'll write an email. Maybe I'll
Okay.
wait for
Okay.
other point type questions.
I'm going to
Yeah.
respond. Yeah. Any questions? I think there are some other questions. Yeah, time.
I've got a question, if it's okay.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, thank you so much. Really excellent presentation, great information.
Yeah.
Was glad to be invited. I've been looking for something like this for some time.
Okay.
In terms of the requirements to apply for subsidies,
Yeah.
are those only required to be met during the time of application for businesses that are experiencing scale? So if you apply in January, less than 5 employees, limited equity, outside equity and investment, and then over the next 6 months after application, you experience significant growth due to sales or outside investment, will that affect or influence the decision to grant a subsidy?
I need to take a very close look at it. You may want to do a certain employment contract as more like a part-time, not a full-time, as a contractor rather than an employee, maybe something like that,
Keksheim.
to make sure.
Mm.
If at the time of the performance report and you have 10 people on the payroll, then it could be a big problem. But
and what about in the period of time between approval and dispersal?
Dispersal is
payment by the government.
Same thing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's risky.
Yeah. You don't want to be take a risk there.
I'm just thinking, right? If you're running a business ideally successfully, you're growing, so you're hiring employees to meet the demands in the market. And wouldn't it be problematic if you were approved and then required, additional hires, but you were afraid that the dispersal or approval of the loan or subsidy would be revoked due to the growth?
Right. It's against the purpose, but let me take a look at it. Yeah, if it's only at the time of application, I don't know, they don't want certain, tricks and cheating going on. I mean, they see that all the time.
Right.
So they may say they want to be strict on that, and this program is only for the small businesses, therefore, or something like that. I don't know. You cannot fight against them. So
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay.
So, yeah.
Very good.
Let me follow up on that and give that response to everyone.
Perfect. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And somebody, I can't remember, sorry, asked that the timing of doing subsidies, which subsidy is applicable in what I said a little bit with that picture, but something like a small business thing, you want to do it as soon as possible when you have, less people. And yeah, and also if you want to use the startup quota, it's 3 years. You are considered a startup, or as far as a small business subsidy is considered. After the establishment, 3-year passes, then you cannot apply for a startup quota. But you have something like wage increase quota, which you can apply. A small amount of salary increase, wage increase will get you through there. So there are ways, even if you are more than 3 years old or something. Monozukuri, it's 5. So it really depends on which subsidy you are talking about. You are considered a startup for 5 years. for ものづくり purpose.
Hmm.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, very. I see. Thank you very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. The thing you need to look out for is what they say in their, what do you call it? How do you call it? They issue the long
About the
paper.
terms.
Yeah. And they say that the purpose of subsidy is such and such and such.
Mm-mm.
So you need to, this is what they are looking for. Therefore, I am going to write business plans and make the application look such that you are actually aiming for that in your business plan.
Right.
They like that, and they give you a lot. I didn't say that in the process, but this is like a university examination in Japan. When we say it's add up points. You want to add up so many. If you get 60% of what they have in mind, you pass. Not 100%. You only get 60% of what they have in mind. And what do they have in mind? They say it a little bit in requirement paper, but I get the information from the ex-examiner consultant, and I worked with him for a while. So I have the list of things that they're looking for. So you want me to talk about it when you actually do a project.
I see. Well, very interesting. Thank you again. Greatly
Sure.
appreciate the information.
Sure. And also, I think somebody asked about taxation of foreigners in Japan and so forth.
That was me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That thing, I used to be a tax accountant. Did I say that? I used to be a tax accountant at Arthur Andersen when I was back in the US. I did the US tax and came back here as an international tax consultant. And those cross-border things. If you are an American, you have to file a tax return even if you live in Japan, right? If you are Japanese, if you leave this country for a while, more than a year, then you are considered non-resident and you don't have to file a tax return unless you have income from here. Things like that. If you establish a subsidiary of a US company, you don't get taxed in the US, but if you incorporate it as a 合同会社, GK, right, LLC, you know it's passed through, right? So any taxes you pay in Japan, you can get tax benefit in the US. If you are a KK, you get taxed in the US only when you pay dividends back to the United States, and there's a withholding rate or tax treaty reduced rate and so forth. So I think you need to talk to tax specialist, tax professional to structure your business.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to derail the conversation around subsidies and grants to talk about taxation, but my specific issue is as a foreign American founder in Japan, starting a company in Japan, I plan to eventually, expand the organization to the United States. So it's my understanding that the U.S. doesn't recognize, or Japan doesn't recognize LLCs as pass-through entities, which would incur double taxation for a foreign founder living in Japan who faces taxation in the United States.
Double taxation can be mitigated by pass-through entity. For U.S. tax purposes, 合同会社, GK, will be considered LLC.
Right, but in the reverse case, as a foreigner living in Japan who is a tax resident in Japan who pays the majority of my taxes in Japan, who is now starting a company in the U.S. while being based in Japan. So I would be a foreign director, technically. It's a very specific situation.
Yeah, I think you need to talk to your tax person in the US.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other things? I think I got a lot of questions, list of questions, but I kind of missed the thing. I have chats coming in.
I've got a quick question.
Sure.
Yeah, and thank you so much. This was really great, and the history was fascinating, and I think it's fascinating to see how Japan is distributing public funds, in the face of COVID and trying to
Right.
instigate the economy, versus in the US, where I think most of the money just went straight into the housing market. Like US also printed a huge amount of money, but I think ultimately it just goes into housing. It does not necessarily go into
Exactly.
SMEs. Yeah, but I guess my question is also about you mentioned the starting point is with the local chamber of commerce, and I think similar to maybe Quinn's scenario. But if you have business or you're doing business here and in the US or another country, what's kind of the minimum expectation for presidents who are doing business in Japan to be considered for some of these subsidies?
One more time. What's the expectation?
The kind of minimum presence, to qualify in terms of, does that just mean you have customers here, or you have like one, let's say you just have like an office with one person, or you have some business in the country? What's kind of the minimum expectation in terms?
To qualify
Yes.
for the subsidy?
Yes.
Let's see. There's no conditions for being a single person of the company, and that company does not qualify. Even sole proprietor can apply for, say, like a small business subsidy. And I've seen individuals got approved, and then she wanted to incorporate that business into, I don't know, GK or KK, or which I don't know, but you can pass on the subsidy to the corporation. So if you are actually doing the business, then you get qualified. If you are doing it like a dormant, or shell company, then they will probably find out, you are not doing business, but you are applying just for the money. A lot of Japanese too did it, formed a paper company to get the money out and just file a good-looking business plan, but nothing is in there. They will find out. So you don't want to do it. If you are doing the actual business, I think that's fine, but you want to look as good as it can be, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of like the structure and how the company is structured doesn't matter as much. It's really about the evidence of the project that you want to do.
Yeah, it's a substance rather than the form, but you want to match together, probably. You want to exist in Japan, all bankers say that, foreigners, startups are, for any startups, it's hard to get bank loans, but because they want to increase startups, banks and all those traditional things, banks want the relationship. The banks want all those, financial statements, 2-3 years and profits and things. That's what it was really, really all the way. And as personal relationship type, and also financial statement type business relationship. The startups don't have it, and foreigners have even harder time. But if you go through the government-backed programs, it's easier, it's better. And if you can say that you have a good business, and that business benefits Japanese economy, it's going to increase sales, and you're going to pay tax. That's what they want to see, and more and more, I don't say, many banks are kind of skeptical as to foreigners coming in and making money, or applying for loans and so forth. Many bank officers are skeptical. I experienced that because I'm trying to get a loan from my business partner. The foreigner owned company, and even to me, I'm a Japanese, but I'm told that you are non-existent or something. We don't know when you take the money and go home, go back to your home or something. That I think is there. It's even harder for foreigners, but recognizing that, you want to be rooted, look rooted in this country, and if you here to stay, you want to look that way as much as possible. If that's what you mean, you want to here for. I think that way, we can help. If you want to partner up with Japanese, I think it's better. You want to speak Japanese, you want to write Japanese, right? You want to have a co-founder or general manager to take care of that part. And you take care of the business part. I think is much better, much faster, and much better looking to banks and other parties too.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any others? Okay. If you have any questions, please send me an email and I will answer as much as possible. I worked hard to come up with those things. This is my first presentation, so it may not be up to your expectation exactly, but I'm gonna be better next time. And if you have anything that haven't been answered, I'm gonna certainly cover that next webinar, and it's gonna be better. And if you want more of something else, I'm going to do a webinar on that for sure. Oh, my email? Did I send you an email? Let's wait. Right here. That's my personal direct email. Shoot me a question. I'll get back to you. Okay. I had to ask first. Is everyone in Japan joining from other countries?
In Japan, yes.
In Japan.
Yep, in Japan.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Most likely, yeah. This, the time difference and things. I'm gonna record this, and some people want it in a recording, so I'm gonna edit it and upload it. So you can take a look at from later on too. Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions tonight, but if you don't have anything else, let's finish up and get spend the rest of the night very well and get good sleep.